Animal shelters are in crisis. It hasn't gotten better, folks. Fostering is so important.
Welcome to the Hen Report from Our Hen House. This is Jasmin Singer.
This is Mariann Sullivan.
And a quick reminder about Our Hen House. The Our Hen House podcasts are now divided into multiple episodes. We used to have one long episode. Rising Anxieties comes out on Tuesdays, the Hen Report on Thursdays, and the long form interview on Fridays. Bonus for Flock members, which has been fantastic lately, I must say, comes out on Mondays. So again, we're a podcast and on YouTube. So please hit subscribe and like wherever you listen. It's funny that some people really prefer to watch a podcast, isn't it?
I do.
Yeah, so does more.
Well, I mean, a lot of podcasts are what I listen to when I'm walking the dog or sometimes when I'm driving. So those would not be good to watch.
That's true.
But I much prefer to watch. I don't know. Like I pick up more, or I get more depth of what people are saying when I'm looking at them. I don't know that it is odd, but it's very easy to just kind of zone out when you're listening. All right, everybody, don't zone out. Now I'm imagining everybody out there zoning out.
No, it is funny, isn't it?
But I watch podcasts all the time. In fact, I no longer watch any normal television.
Well,
I just watch YouTube, and I just watch like the news and and bullshit about the news and people talking about the news. I'm so sick of myself. But I don't know, like things are so dire and big that when I watch fictional stuff, it just seems stupid. And you recommended that I watch the Hallmark Channel. And I tried that, and there are very few things that are too stupid for me, but whatever I watched on the Hallmark Channel was too stupid for me.
I am shocked.
I can watch almost anything.
I am shocked because I am kind of the opposite. A lot is too stupid for me to watch, but I love the Hallmark Channel movies.
Well, I'm not saying everything on the Hallmark Channel. My guess is that it is everything, but I'm not saying that because there might be good things. But like the acting is bad. The acting is bad, and then the people aren't even that good looking. So you wonder, like, how did they get the job? Like, it's usually one or the other. And the scripts make no sense whatsoever. They like if they want a plot twist, they just write anything. It doesn't have to make sense.
Some of them are former child actors, so there's that.
So, like, what? You're a former child actor, and you just have a job forever?
I don't know, but I will say, listen, when Moore and I went to my niece Lila's bat mitzvah, like 2.5 years ago in Kansas City, we were staying at a hotel, and it was the summer. We were staying at a hotel, and there were Christmas trees everywhere, and we're like, "What's going on?" And it was a Hallmark fest.
I'm not remotely surprised because the thing I watched was Christmassy, and it was clearly midsummer, and all the trees were green, and you can even tell just by the light. Light is different in the summer than in the winter, and you can tell as soon as you look at it that they're filming this in the summer. It's so distracting. And then there's like a few, like some fake snow around, like on the rose bushes.
This fest was like, mega fans, and we get in the elevator and people were like, "Are you so excited to meet?" And they just like said some guy who's in every movie. I agree. No, I think it is a little shocking of me. We watched a Hanukkah movie on it the other day. There's four Hanukkah movies on.
Happy Hanukkah, everybody.
Thank you. And nothing happened. There was no plot. Like literally, I'm not even kidding. There was no plot.
Because when they have a plot, it doesn't make any sense.
And I watched the whole thing. By the way, there's going to be
Speaking of, were you speaking of soap operas? Did you hear that
Luke and
Laura died?
Yes, I saw him once when I lived in LA at Hugo's, which is a diner that has a lot of vegan options.
Probably have no idea what we're talking about.
No, our audience skews older. They do. They know.
Yeah, but still, they have more taste.
Well, yeah, they're listening to Our Hen House. Although now they're like, why am I talking about Luke and Laura and the Hallmark Channel? But yeah, I did hear that.
He died. I mean, which is sad. I'm sorry.
Operation.
I don't mean to be making light of anybody's death. It wasn't terribly untimely, as far as I could tell. I mean, he was in his 70s. Of course, I'm in my 70s, and I would like to think of it as untimely. So, never mind. Forget I said all of that.
Wow, things got
dark fast.
Well, it's it's so funny about Hanukkah. It's always been my favorite holiday. Well, I just wanna say, I grew up Jewish. I'm an atheist Jew now, but I grew up celebrating Christmas and Hanukkah. We had a Hanukkah room and a Christmas room because my stepfather and my biological father celebrated Christmas, so we had, like, elaborate holiday seasons with so many gifts. I mean, like, lots of little things, and, like, it
Well,
wasn't
your mother has a
a
gift-giving
gift, yeah,
issue.
and I have it too. I
Yeah,
get
you
a lot
do.
of gifts,
You
yeah,
do.
and I really enjoy it, and I try and get them all either secondhand or I make them. It doesn't always shake out that way, but it frequently does, and I start, like, 6 months early, and I
Yeah,
love
you
it,
do.
and
I
I
witnessed it.
love it. I
And
really do.
you've given me lovely gifts so
Thank you.
far.
Good. I'm so glad. Yeah, so far you've gotten 2, thrifted items and 1 handmade item, and it's so much fun to me, especially when I have challenging people in my life like you and more to get for because I'm like, "Okay, I'm up for the challenge," and gives me something to focus on. Um, but so Maurice yesterday, she said we were opening Hanukkah gifts, and she's like, "I like how drawn out Hanukkah is," and I feel like that's part of, like, why I like it. It's just, like, this
Yeah. Yeah.
ongoing thing, and there's, like, rituals, and it's not that big
No,
of a
because
deal.
I remember when I was a kid, I don't feel this that much anymore. I mean, not just because it's not as exciting, but like the day after Christmas was such a huge letdown. I do
Yeah,
feel, I mean, now I feel like the whole week is kind of a celebration and you like people plan things for the whole week. But
yeah.
when I was a kid, it was like the day after Christmas, like it just felt desolate.
Mhm. I feel
So
that's
Hanukkah
that
is good
way.
for that it kind of drags on until you're kind of sick of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I was listening to Bill Crystal the other day, who, has always been this extremely conservative commentator who I now love. I don't
I thought you were
understand how
talking
that
about Billy
happened.
Crystal. I was like, "What are
No,
you talking
no,
about?"
actually, though, he was talking about Rob Reiner, and
Mm.
he had met Rob Reiner, and the way he met him was that he did an ad for the 2020 election that Rob Reiner, donated he did it, and it featured Billy Crystal and Bill Crystal both on the same side.
That's funny.
It was very funny, and Bill Crystal admitted that he can't act at all, and it was really true. Um, but anyway, where was I going with this? Oh, he was saying he is Jewish, and he was talking about Hanukkah, and he was just talking about how Hanukkah is such a special holiday for Jews because a lot of the holidays are pretty depressing. like they're not that
That's what I was just
cheerful,
about to say. I was
like
just
Yom
about to say that.
Kippur.
Well, Rosh Hashanah is celebratory, but it's kind of paired with Yom Kippur. I mean,
Yeah,
but I will
yeah,
say that also Hanukkah is not a big deal. It's like it kind of
right.
got bigger
It's
because of
not that
Christmas.
seriously
Right, and
religious,
so
and
there's
yeah,
something just you end the year with it, it's lovely. I have friggin' Hanukkah socks for, like, every night of Hanukkah for the YouTube v viewers. Here's
yeah.
today's
Now I'm
Hanukkah
now
socks
looking at your socks.
and
Yeah.
my socks, and then having Christmas too, and it I I love gifts. What can I say? I'm a maximalist. eh, I I've been enjoying this.
Nobody's criticizing you, Jasmine. You're getting overly defensive. It's great that you
People
love
have.
gifts.
People have over the
Well,
years told me it's too much and stop and this and then I'm like, "Well, okay, you're off
but
my."
then you got a title for your memoir. Oh, it's too
But
much.
I
And
never
never
I
enough.
never actually, an editor titled that and, like, now it's 10 years later and the title's just gonna follow me around forever. Did you know that Cynthia Erivo has a memoir out now and it's called, something like, Never Too Much or something? I'm getting it wrong, but it said, "For
Never too
anyone."
much.
Hold on, let me see what it's actually
Yeah,
called, but it said,
we do have Google here.
yeah, I'm gonna
We
see
could fill in this information.
Cynthia Erivo memoir, but yeah, it's called Simply More, a book for anyone for anyone who's been told they're too much. Was like,
Oh,
"All
maybe you should
right,
read that.
Cynthia." I know, I should. I think she's fierce. I mean, who doesn't
I
think
don't
she's
know.
fierce?
Nobody tells me I'm too much. They say I'm just the right amount. No, they don't. They don't say anything about it.
No, they do, they do. I was on
Nobody's
y
ever said I was too much.
no,
Never.
you're not, no, 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 of course not, you're not too much.
I'm not bragging about that. I'm just saying, like, I don't think I'm all that much.
I don't think
I'm
I don't
certainly
think being
not too
too
much.
honestly, I think that, like, as I've gotten older, I realize that a lot of the times in the past people have told me I'm too much is just because, like, I'm a strong woman who takes up space. Admittedly, there are times I have been too much. I recognize that. I had a
You have your moments.
I had a a
Just
childhood
saying.
that required a lot of sorting through in my adulthood, as many of us have.
As
And
we so do, actually, that brings up this whole line of thought that I've been thinking of, and it brings up a really, I mean, I mentioned Rob Reiner, but it brings up the whole Rob Reiner situation. And I don't know why I'm going to talk about it, but I am. And it was about, because I've been thinking so much about addiction,
yeah, because
and
of,
because of your
right.
play, where you played Judy Garland, and it's ongoing now. So I've seen it a couple of times, and it's
You're seeing it
very
one more
much about
time. You're such
addiction.
a good person seeing it one more time.
And addiction, I've had a lot of addiction in my family. I mean, alcoholism, like, and whatever. And I just have always thought that addiction stops growth. Like, as soon as you become addicted, you stop growing as a person. And I think a lot of people feel that way. And when they stop, a lot of people, when they stop, they talk about how they have to kind of catch up emotionally. And
Mhm.
just as you get older, you learn to, I mean, just imagine living through your 20s again. Oh my God.
No, thank
But
you.
it would be lovely to live through your 20s again if you didn't have to go through all of that pain. But there's so much pain, and addiction just, it solves the pain temporarily, and so you don't grow. And I was just thinking in context of Rob Reiner, like this absolutely horrifying story. And I don't know anything about the actual situation, but I do know that their son, who is accused of the murder, um, it has been addicted from a very young child. And I would imagine there are also some serious mental illness issues. They all go together.
Yeah.
But I don't know how I got started on that, but it's really been on my mind, and I wanted to talk about it. And that story just really, what a tragic, too many tragedies going on. It's been a really tough week. I'm sure everybody's feeling it.
Yeah.
Especially at this moment with the holidays, when you kind of feel you're supposed to feel cheerful, and
Hmm.
and the whole Sydney story is just beyond belief. And the more you read about it, the more stories coming out of it of heroism and just utter sadness. And then there was the shooting at Brown, where they still haven't caught the guy
Well, at the
or
time of this
woman.
recording, yeah. And
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, this will go up tomorrow,
and
but we're recording it on Wednesday.
we know a lot of, I mean, more is a Brown alumni, and I was
For some
recently at,
reason, I know a lot of people who went to Brown.
yeah, and a lot of people in our community, in the animal rights community in Rochester, have ties to Brown for some reason. And I was at the campus last year. I mean, it's just, obviously it's not a unique event, and that's what part of what makes it so awful. It's really inexplicable. I mean, I like, when I was coming of age, when I was young and in high school, there was, I think someone went to a payphone, which is what we had then, and like called in bomb threats to my school, and we like missed school for a week, and we
Yeah,
all were like,
I imagine
"Yay!"
we all had a few of those. Yeah,
Yeah, and
even at my age, that used to happen when I was
right,
a
and
kid.
we were
Yeah,
so excited, and now like my niece is a sophomore in high school, and
yeah,
it,
it's no joke.
it's no joke. Like they prepare for it, and yeah,
When
it's
I was very young, we used to prepare for atomic war.
I know,
And we used to
of
get
course.
under our little pathetic desks in order to prepare for the atomic bomb
God,
to be.
did that
So,
freak you out?
kids have been, I don't remember. I mean, I can't imagine. I don't think so. I mean, I think at the point where this was happening, it was probably in the 50s, and I was pretty young. And
Mhm.
when you're a kid, you just do what they do. But at some point, I looked back on it and it freaked me out. Like, it was so stupid.
Well,
But
okay,
it was part of the, I mean, I'm not blaming anybody. It was they were freaked out too. Like, the atomic bomb had not been that long before. We were, there was the whole Cold War was just really, really serious, and people were very frightened, and so they tried to think of what they could do. That was not a very good idea. Like, I don't think we would have survived. I mean, because the main, fear is the radiation,
sure.
not like your desk getting hit.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but there is the
this conversation has gotten too dark, and I wanted it to be I wanted us to touch on all of the darkness, but also try to put it into the context of Christmas and Hanukkah, which
well,
are happy holidays.
can I just say one more thing before we go into the happy? and then I promise we'll
But we
pivot
don't
to
have
the
to go
happy.
into the happy. I just wanted
No, I think
to
we
put
should
it
go into the
together.
happy. But I just want to say I got a text from a very, very close friend of mine who's vegan. I'm making it animal rightsy. And they texted me and said, I only check the headlines every few days. I mean, good for them. How does that work?
I
And they
know.
said, so I just wanted to
Should do
check
that.
in within you. Wanted to check in with you in light of all the news that I'm suddenly hearing, because when they like came to, they saw all of the above. And I wrote back to them and we had a little back and forth. So the next day they sent me another text and said, I'm fine. Everything's fine. But I've spent the day at the ER because I have had severe chest pains all day and they found absolutely nothing wrong. And I'm thinking, like, these texts are not, mutually exclusive. Like, they're not happening in a vacuum. I mean, I'm bringing this up because whether we're taking it in on a visceral level or not, this world is affecting each of us, and some of us much more so. I have a friend who lost her government benefits recently. And even for people who are, you know, in more privileged positions, the headlines are seeping in. And so I think it is important to really, really focus on the happy when we can. Like, I'm in this play which has been like the time of my life, and there are pieces of what's going on with the play that have been just driving me nuts. And then I'm like, whatever. Like, I can't think about that right now because I'm having the time of my life and I want to focus on that. But when we're in the holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate, the solstice, these times of change, it is so important to take a moment and just focus on the good. And it doesn't mean that the bad's not happening, but it means you get like a 1 minute reprieve from thinking about it, whatever that means to you.
I
The-
I I totally agree. And I also wanted to say, and this isn't for everybody. I'm just going to add one thing, and then we can talk a little bit about what's been going on. But I mean, this isn't me preaching. I think people handle religion in a lot of different ways, and some people just really reject the holidays because they lost their meaning for them, and because of they've lost their maybe they were believers when they were a child and they no longer are, or whatever. And I just think it's possible. I mean, what I do, I have happy memories of Christmas. Mostly, there were a few bad ones. Um, but I think like a celebration is a great thing, and I just don't have to think of it as true. And I think that you can celebrate Christmas without thinking that the story was all true. You can just think of it as a lovely story. Or I mean, I like to use the word myth. I don't think you like the word myth, but like something like why not accept, I mean, not all of Christianity is beautiful, but so what? So you don't have to like the ones that like the parts that you don't like. Like, it's all up to you. Like,
and
Christianity can be what you want it to be. It doesn't have to be what they want it to be. And if you think it's a nice story that doesn't happen to be true for in your world, like, you can still like do it however you want. I hate the rules around well, you have to believe. You have to believe
sure.
everything we say in order to have this holiday, or else if you want to believe in the Santa Claus part, that's great. If you want to believe in the Jesus part, well, I you don't have to believe it. You just have to celebrate,
You have to
see it
opt
as a
in for a
beautiful
minute.
story.
Yeah,
I'm being so inarticulate right
no, let
now.
me just say
I don't
and
know how
also
to say
it's
this.
the same with the Maccabees. It's the same with any story. And the only reason I don't like the word myth is because of, semantics and personal opinion, but I like the idea of storytelling. I like the idea of ritual. I like the idea of like passing down stories as long as, in my opinion, you're honest with younger generations that they're stories. Therein lies madness when it comes to religion, IMO. But yeah, I mean, sure, absolutely. We are allowed to enjoy things. Like,
And there almost certainly probably was a historical Jesus. I don't think they're absolutely sure of that, but I think there probably was. But so what? I mean, just because there was a real element of the story doesn't mean you can't make of it what you want.
and
And definitely, I like the approach of believing uh, that the historical Jesus, whoever he was or whatever he was doing, was undoubtedly vegan, whether he was God or not, because, he was
Mm,
smart.
I love
And
that.
because he said my very favorite thing, or did my very favorite thing at the Sermon on the Mount, and that was like he took the dead fish and the one loaf of bread and fed the multitude. So therefore, he invented cultured meat.
Yeah. Totes.
It's
Totes.
all makes sense.
Thanks, Jesus.
Thanks, Jesus.
We
Good
we hope
work.
you're listening. Sorry for being an atheist Jew, but you started
No,
Judaism too, so thanks.
like the Jesus in my brain is delighted that you're an atheist too.
So yeah, 100%. I love that. But happy, merry, whatever. Like I was watching this Judy
Happy Mary,
Garland.
and I know the world is horrible right now, and you can't totally forget that, but you can have two things at the same time.
I was watching this Judy Garland video
Oh,
that,
really?
yeah, I know,
How
shocking.
unusual.
And at the
I just want
beginning of
everybody
it,
out there to know that Jasmine has not talked about anything except Judy Garland for at least 2 months.
2 months. It's a whole lot longer than that. But I was watching one, and at the very beginning, this was from a movie, but it was sort of like kind of loosely, the part seemed to be loosely based on her. And at the very beginning, she had like a fur coat, and she said this awful, horrible thing about like, the fur coat and it was 1 second of the video, and then she went into this glorious singing, and like, am I giving her a pass on that? No. She was a very, very flawed and complicated person, and I could
And
say,
also,
well,
everybody wore fur then.
for
Not
sure.
everybody was out in leadership.
Exactly, exactly. But I'm not going to turn the video off at that point because I want to get to enjoy this
Oh,
video
I
and this
totally
singing.
agree.
And
I
so
totally
it,
agree.
it, it just reminds me of this same thing. Like as vegans, we can turn things off because something horrible and oppressive happens, or we can choose to put like compartmentalize it for the sake of like enjoying life. And I'm not saying second guess your ethics or do things you're not comfortable with. There are things that I refuse to like. There are things that cross the line for me. I don't like to watch things where, there's any kind of, horse racing in it or something like that, because I know what's going on in
Well,
that moment.
yeah. I mean, and that's also like it's not that watching that like has any effect on the world, but who wants to watch that? I mean, wasn't there a certain point where you started watching movies or whatever that had real animals in them,
Hmm.
and you started realizing, like looking at the animal not in the context of the story, but as I wonder what he was actually thinking
Yeah,
at that moment. Like,
absolutely.
and then you can't watch it anymore. But not because it's, you're doing something immoral, just because it ruins it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and I know that you're probably going to roll your eyes a little bit at this, but like there was a point earlier on in my like LGBTQ journey or whatever that I was like, "Ugh, why are all these songs on the radio so heteronormative?" And then one day I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to let this song be relevant to me
Yeah, I
too.
mean, I am rolling my eyes.
I know
It's
you
like
are,
there
but
are heterosexuals in the world. They're
no,
allowed
I'm
to
not
sing.
hold on. I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying like there was a point where I was like, okay, this isn't for me because it's about a man and a woman or
Yeah,
whatever. And at some point I'm like, I'm just going to get the
you
essence of this. And I'm
you
allowed to enjoy it. I'm allowed to enjoy
yeah,
I don't
because
have to
I mean, I
suffer.
think that's totally different because they're not doing anything wrong.
I, right. I of course I agree with that. Though, it would be nice for there to be a few more lesbian songs in the world, but um all right.
Well,
So
you're the
what
one
do you,
who's supposed to sing them. All right, are we going to go through these articles, or like let's go
yeah, what
through
do
it
you want to talk what
fast?
do you want to talk about?
All right. There is just one piece of pretty bad news, and I'm going to get it out of the way. And that's at this trial. We've been talking a lot about the animal rising trials in the UK, and the ones at the horse races, they've all gotten acquittals. Well, there was just the one at the beagle breeder, just like the beagle breeders here, and they got they got convicted. They rescued 18 beagle puppies. The place is called MBR Acres. I think it's huge, absolutely huge. And they haven't been sentenced yet. It's really scary. They're facing up to 10 years, I think. And also, they point out This is probably just for people in the UK. So just go to the Animal Rising site if you're not familiar with that. The government is kind of using this opportunity to push a change in the law, which would effectively criminalize even peaceful protest against animal testing. So that is just disgraceful, and so that's the bad news. All right, out of the way. That is
Mm,
pretty bad news. And then
me.
I wanted to mention the fact that Torre Washington is going to Mister Olympia 2026, which
Oh,
apparently in the bodybuilding world is a very big deal. And
that's so
Torre,
cool. Was he
he's
on our he
on,
was on our Hen House, right?
yeah,
You
yeah. I
interviewed
jotted
him.
down the episode 663. 63. He was
How
charming. I
fun.
remember he was a
Oh,
nightmare to schedule with, and he was late for the interview, and I totally hated him. And then he got on for 2 seconds. He was completely charming.
he's just busy. Like that's happened to me with other people too, especially celebrities and like
Yeah,
he's
especially yeah. I mean,
but
yeah.
and then they're wonderful
It,
and
it,
that's
it
so
happens, and
cool.
I could, yeah, no. So he's in his 50s, and his
Wow.
specialty, because he also has a consulting business, which he talked about in the interview, where he helps people. He's totally plant based and totally natural, like no drugs, which I guess is a big deal in the bodybuilding world. And his consulting business, or you know teaching business of people, is for people over 40. So he's really focusing on that particular population, which I love. Um, all right.
I
So
love that.
that was from Plant Based News. I
Good
learned
for
that.
him. Good
Just
for him.
credit where credit is due. And another thing I wanted to talk about, I don't know whether we should talk about this, but I was just, I mean, it's just a tour of Mexico City. But I want to go to Mexico so much, and I want to go to Mexico mostly to eat the food. You hear about good Mexican food. I mean,
Mm.
and I like Mexican American food. I mean, I don't think it's bad food. I love it. But because I'm vegan, I've never really been to a high-end Mexican restaurant because I don't know. There is the one in or it's a chain in New York City, ha ha ha, which is good. So I guess I'm kind of lying, but I
Some people
love
call
that
it ja ja
food.
ja, but I think you're right that it's ha ha ha.
No, it's ha ha ha. I mean, come
Yeah.
on, it's
I
Spanish.
know. I'm just saying.
I don't even speak Spanish, but that seems obvious. Anyway, they're just talking about this tour that Cheap Lazy Vegan, the woman's name is Rosalie, did, and it just sounded unbelievable. There's a restaurant called Roma Norte with pink tacos and washak and mole. There's a lot of this is about mole, which I think is annoying because I can't eat chocolate. But La Pitahaya Vegana, uh, known for tortillas, and tofu curry and cauliflower tacos, chilaquiles topped with chickpea chorizo and beans. It just sounded so good. So I just thought I'd mention it. I was excited
Yeah.
about it.
You
And then
know,
another thing I really wanted to mention, I'm not going to talk about this a lot, but it also harkens back to another interview that we did. We did it with Rosie Wardle, who was then heading up this company for investors, FAIRR, FAIRR. It's not a company, it's an initiative, and where investors all get together and they encourage investors to join, and it's to promote plant-based products and divest from animal products. They're doing amazing work. I don't think Rosie is any longer with them, but there's an article about it on Plant Based News, and we're talking about trillions of dollars in assets. The investors who are part of the FAIRR Initiative. So I think it's just such a brilliant idea, bringing all of these investors together and encouraging the move to protein diversification. So I thought I'd mention that too, also on Plant Based News, where we get all of our good news. And
plant-based news is
then,
just doing great work. Or just again, you giving credit where credit is due. If you're not following
oh
them,
yeah, no, they're fun. Like I
they're
love
fun, but
reading
like
them.
they're
They
they're they're
mix in the
also
food and the news, and
and
they
there's
just
like
do a
a
great job.
grit. There's a grit there. Like it's
Yeah,
not. It's
yeah.
yeah. I love it. Go ahead.
All right, another thing I wanted to mention, this is an article from Humane World for Animals, and everybody knows this, but it was a good article, and this is not the good news part. Animal shelters are in crisis. It hasn't gotten better, folks. There was a lot of talk after the pandemic that it was because of people going back to work, but it's much more complex than that, as this article points out. And animal shelters are in big trouble. They're not big enough. They're not able to handle the animals. fostering is so important. Um, and they focus specifically on a shelter in Baton Rouge and a shelter in New York City, but they're really talking about all of them. There's they're seeing a rise in the numbers coming in, but also the animals are not getting adopted quickly. Big dogs are unbelievably at risk. And some of the reasons they talk about, I mean, it has a lot to do with the economy. Both the fact that veterinarians, there's a nationwide shortage of veterinarians, so spay and neuter services are not being, and they were not suspended during the pandemic, so that built up a huge number of puppies who otherwise wouldn't have been born, and now, like, people can't afford veterinary bills, and we all know that's true. We're all experiencing it.
Yeah.
That the veterinary costs have gone up unbelievable. Since 2019, the cost of pet services such as veterinary bills and grooming has climbed 42%. 42%. While the cost of pet food has risen 22%. So, and then we have things like that people who are on, lower incomes are being hurt on the, in other ways too, like the SNAP program being defeated, the thing going on with medical insurance, that people's rents are going to go so high. Every time people's income shrinks, pets end up in the housing
Yeah.
crisis. More and more people are renting because they can't afford to buy. This has a lot to do with the large dogs. You can't bring a large dog to a lot of anyway, all of this. I'm just going on and on.
No.
But everybody who can foster should, and everybody who can't should donate a little money to their local shelter.
And
Whoever's
speaking
doing a good
of
job in your community, give him some love.
Well, and speaking of people who are doing a good job in the community, I have 2 shout outs before we conclude today. One is for Tamerlane Sanctuary and Preserve, and this is one of our incredible listeners, Sarah Murray, uh, wanted us to mention Tamerlane, and you could find out more at tamerlane.org. It's TAMERLAINE.org. So Tamerlane does great work. You should also follow them on social media. They are, like all sanctuaries, doing their end of year fundraising, and they do beautiful work. So thank you, Sarah, for supporting so many great causes, including Our Hen House, and for the idea to mention Tamerlane. And also, Dr. Joanne Kong has a new book out. She's been on Our Hen House years ago. She's an incredible, thinker and writer, and she has a new book out that I wanted to highlight for anyone who has people in their community who maybe want to go vegan in the new year, because as we know, that's an important time to go vegan. She has a new book called Vegan Made Easy, A Practical Guide to Plant-Based Living. And this is a great gift for any new vegan or even vegan curious folks. It's published by Lantern. We're going to put the link on this book on our show notes, of course. And you could also just Google Vegan Made Easy, Dr. Joanne Kong, and you'll see it. But there are some of these books that exist, including my own shameless plug, The Veg News Guide to Being a Fabulous Vegan. But what I love is that they're all different, and the more recent they are, the more recent the information is. And the fact that this is, co-authored by Dr. Joanne Kong offers, and it looks like a really fun and very accessible book. It's about the how and why to go vegan, and it includes everything about like social justice and health and sustainability and just like how to transition. And so I'm excited that there's another book out there. And of course, Lantern publishes and has for so long some really important books. So definitely check those out.
It's a
And
great gift idea. You can be that vegan, the one who gives all of their
yeah, and you can
people
make fun
in
of
their
it
life
too.
how to go vegan books, because just be that vegan. Like, screw them.
And also you can sort of make fun of yourself about that before they get a chance to. Like, I'm being that
there
vegan.
are so many people who would never admit that they would consider it. But,
Yeah.
if you give them a book that they can look at in the
Right.
privacy of their own
Yeah.
home,
And let me also
curiosity.
say this is taking a page, so to speak, from Dr. Neil Barnard. What he does when he gifts books is he puts like little Post-its on random pages and says, This made me think of you. I mean, he might be more specific than that. Like he might actually give more thought, but I believe it's pretty random. And it engages the person you're giving it
That's a
to.
really good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Just be careful if you're doing it randomly,
right, it'd be like
what you
constipation.
highlight.
Constipation, page 86. This made me think of you. So anyway, congrats to Joanne on that project as well. And congrats to us because we have had such a successful year. We're not quite done with our hen house for the year. We still have a couple more weeks, but we're gearing quickly up to our 16-year anniversary, and we've published this is our 883rd episode of Our Hen House. We also have more than 100 episodes of the Animal Law podcast. And our end of year fundraiser is crucial to these efforts. And this year, due to the generosity of our largest donors, all donations are being tripled. So between now and the end of the year, for every $1 you donate, we'll receive 2 more. And I do want to say, because of some foundational support that is drying up, this might be the last year of the triple match. We're hopefully going to have a double match in the future. Again, thanks to our generous highest donors. But if you want to really make a huge impact, go to ourhenhouse.org/support and donate to Our Hen House, because we need you and you need us. And so we're in a codependent relationship. We might as well nurse that. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. And we will talk to you next time.